a little bit of a gump report here. I know this is 5 days old. I know. This happened on the 24th. We're on the, this is about the 28th, I believe. This is about the 28th. This is about 4 days old. This is the 28th. I know this is late. But I left it because I wanted to see if there's any new information about anyone. And there was. Today, some information was released about Kairi Sane, about the speculation of why this happened. And I don't buy any of that shit. I don't. But let's make this very clear on what we got here, as you see from my title about the releases. Now, if anybody remembers clearly, I'm not saying I'm the only one who talked about this, but I spoke about this quite earlier than Stand and Deliver. We had no idea what was going to happen by Stand and Deliver when it came to most of the people that was going to be on the NXT roster. I didn't cover Raw, I didn't cover SmackDown, I covered NXT only. And I stated I didn't know who was going to stay and who was going to go because we're coming up to the budget cuts. Always remember, the budget cuts have always been historically after WrestleMania. It doesn't make a difference who is running the company at this point. And remember, it's not about being Vince, it's not about being Ori, or in this case, Silver Lake currently owns WWE, UFC, TKO, and Endeavor Group Holdings. No one talks about that. I will leave a link below again at Silver Lake's own website if I don't forget, because it happened a couple of times already. I will leave the link below showing the acquisition and Endeavor being happy that they got acquired by Silver Lake Global. Because everyone keeps talking about TKO, 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 TKO. No one wants to say TKO doesn't exist as it once was. Ari Emanuel doesn't own TKO or UFC or WWE or Endeavor. He sold it to Silver Lake. He runs it as a CEO only. He's not an owner of the companies anymore. He gave that up. But what does this mean about what just happened? Let's make this clear. Like I said, we get this every year. But the question was who was going to go and who was going to stay. Now, I got a little bit of conflicting information here between Jake D and Alex and the websites. When you look at Alex's video about this last week on Friday, when he heard about the people that was in, he was naming some of the names there. He named Out the Mud, Price and Nima. I checked. I didn't see anything about Price and Nima, so I don't know if they're gone or not. I don't. We know that Andre Chase is gone because he made his own X video about it. We know Crucifino is gone. We know that, guess who is gone that I had no interest in because she had nothing? Tyra Steele, who just won LFG. She won it. And within a few months after winning it and just starting to air on TV, then she disappeared. She's now also been released. So what was the point of LFG? Now, here's where a lot of people are going to get angry. Let's make this clear. And I want to make this very clear. We still don't know how many more people are going to be released. I'm saying this now before I get into some of the people from Raw or SmackDown and Kairi Sane. I'm going to give my thoughts on Kairi in a minute. But I want to make this very, very clear. We still don't know how many more people are going to be released. So far, the reports are between 22 to 25 people released. It could be more than that. And particularly now, this is the next couple of days, maybe more people will be released from the main roster of Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. We still don't know yet. Just cutting the fat the first couple of days doesn't always be the end of it, guys. They will cut more people within the next couple of months that we're going to hear about. But let's get to the meat and potatoes of this. The Wyatt Six. Rowan. Let's make it very clear. That when you look at the Wyatt Six, Joe Gacy, Rowans, you look at when it came to Dexter Lumis, when it comes to Bo Dallas, when it comes to a sweet, loving, which I can understand when it comes to Nikki Cross. A lot of people wondered, why did these people join? Nikki, who was a superhero at one point, and I heard when it was with either Alex or with JD, they never got any information why these people decided to change. Never. The only one that made any sense was Rowan. Eric Rowan was the only one that made any sense to work with Bo Dallas. And everyone else was thrown in there. And there was no answering those questions. And in the end, they decided to just get rid of them. Then we get Alba Fire. She's done too. I'm not too surprised about that because without Piper Niven being there to make the ensemble, the only person they're really going to think of keeping would be Chelsea Green. Now, you could say because of Zack Ryder, or it could be because she actually is that entertaining, which she is. And she's that. She is this. She's always been great on the mic. She's always been great in the ring. She's always performed very well in pressure situations. We know this. Doesn't mean they keep her, but we know this. And also we know that Matt Cardone is back. Zack Ryder, at least for the moment, is back. We don't know how long he's going to stay, but Zack is back at the moment, and maybe they're willing to keep them both together. Don't know if they'll work together, but they're keeping them. At least right now. The Zoe Stark, and I know about her being injured. I also know about her just getting cleared just before she was released. Okay? I do know that. I know she was released when she was finally cleared. I know. So don't say down below, dude, you know Zoe was cleared to wrestle. She was ready. Yeah. And they got rid of her. And let's get to the elephant in the room right now. Before we get to Kairi Sane, let's get to the elephant in the room when it comes to all this and the speculation about TKO, Ari Emanuel and the board of directors making the decisions about this. I've heard Alex's take on it. I've heard JD's take. I've heard Solomon's take. And they are right. As it stands right now, the board of directors, as well as Ari Emanuel, don't care about getting rid of people in bulk. They're not going to look through them all and get rid of them in bulk. Only if they're caring. And I want to make this clear because I didn't say this. I want to make this clear. There are two parts of what I'm about to say. Because they are right. Anything that needs to be done in bulk, large numbers, Ari is going to tell Nick, and Nick is going to tell Triple H, I want you to clean, make the roster smaller so we have a surplus of money. That is not a lie. That is the truth. We know this. But this is what they didn't mention. That's Solomonster, that's Alex, and that's JD. Because no one is talking about this. Remember what I told you guys 2 years ago. Sooner or later, there was someone going to interject themselves into the product. What happened at WrestleMania? They don't want to say anything about Pat McAfee. They're saying nothing about Pat McAfee. There's not a knock against them. They're not thinking about it. I'm not knocking them. But if Pat would be interjected into WrestleMania and they knew it sucked and they had to eat it by the fans and eat it in how the storylines went that pissed off the fans, it is obvious that when they're interested, and I'm saying this clearly, when they're interested in one particular wrestler, they will say, fire them. Either because of contract, because they think the contract is too much and they'll get rid of them, or they don't like them. And hearing JD, Alex, Solomonster say nothing about that, I feel it's a misjustice there. I feel that they need to add that. It is not the point that you believe Dave Meltzer and anyone else. It is obvious that when someone in a high position sees something, whether it's during the time of the budget cuts or not, if they make a clear decision that they want them gone, they are gone. Hearing that from Dave Meltzer, that's not something we do, is bullshit. But in bulk, I'm saying it again, in large numbers, they don't care two flips when they want to cut the damn fat out of the budget and have a surplus for the shareholders, for the board of directors, for themselves. They don't care. So when it comes down to the majority of what's going on, if it was not Nick Khan who made the decision, it was Triple H who made the final call. Flat out, the truth. We know it. But I still say this because there is proof of it, no matter how much JD or Alex or Solomonster says this is a stupid thing, you're acting dumb. Then explain Pat. Pat is where your argument continually and will always collapse. Because if Pat did not exist, you would have 100% the argument with no problem. But Ari spoke on a podcast saying that as his manager or agent, that Pat is going to be the next Sylvester Stallone. It makes no difference what the fuck you say after that. You have now become biased. And at any time, no matter what anyone says, not the respected Solomonster, not the revered of a Alex, just Alex, or a undeniable JD, your argument will always collapse because you're always going to have the same problem. You're right, all three of you. You actually are correct. In bulk, they will always just tell you to get rid of the fat. But when they're in the sorry, I'm getting angry. Because I'm angry that they don't want to acknowledge it. I'm not angry at them. I'm not angry at Solomonster, JD, or Alex. I respect them. But I'm being honest here. By not saying this, well, I'm a little YouTuber. Yeah, I've been doing this since 2012, 14 years. For some of them, I've been around almost as long as they've been, or way less, or maybe a little bit more. I'm almost a contemporary of theirs. I'm not saying that I'm as good as them. I'm not. I'm not going to say that I'm better than JD, Alex, or Solomonster. No. JD and Solomonster, they're literally working in hog. They're around pro wrestlers. Alex has interviewed pro wrestlers. He's done it. I'm not going to tell you I'm even close to their levels. But as someone who's done this enough times, I know it's important to at least be honest about everything that you see. And them not saying what I'm saying here, that Ari Emanuel can have a bias, which he did with Pat, again collapses their argument. When it comes to one person, in bulk, it doesn't collapse it. They are perfectly right. But when it comes to one person, whether it's due to the fact they just don't like them because they think they're a waste of time, or it's because of their contract, that they think, we don't want to have a contract with this one this big. Is it really necessary to keep them? And if they hear no at some point, or they see that the performance is not good, they want them gone. It makes no difference what they say. If it's one person, it's always going to be one. So what does it come to Kairi Sane? Do I believe Kairi Sane was kicked out by Ari or anyone else? No. Saying it now. I do not believe it was, just like R-Truth. This was not about if Ari Emanuel did not like her. It isn't. This was the budget cuts. Just like what happened with R-Truth. Now, I've already seen two reports already. One report about, well, let's give it like this. She's not coming back. What happened with R-Truth was the first and only time that Triple H realized he screwed up and brought him back. And that is the reason why R-Truth is the current tag champion on Raw. That's it. For Kairi, they're not doing it. They're just not. They're not doing it. Now, that was a report, I believe yesterday on the 27th, where the report was about Kairi not being brought back. I do believe I'll have a connection for that if I can find the article again. I think I can find that article about they're not going to be bringing her back because they've already decided no matter what, they're not going to knuckle under to the fans again because they did that for R-Truth. They're not doing it for Kairi. It's not happening twice unless they're that stupid to knuckle under again. And let's make this clear. When a company knuckles under for someone or something, usually they get a huge mess up later. I'm not bringing politics into this. But when you see people on either the left, or heavy right make complaints to a company, if that company is biased to the opposite side of the extreme, they fuck themselves up. It doesn't make a difference if they're far right, heavy right, or far left, heavy left. If the company is far heavy left or far heavy right, when they knuckle under to the opposite side, they have fucked themselves because no matter what, that's not the people they're 100% catering to all the time. They give off a sign to the ones who they do cater, whether it's people who they're in the center or left or right, not far left and right, just left or right, doesn't matter. If they knuckle under to an extreme to either way, that tells pretty much their customers, why should we trust you? Why should we listen to you? Why should we do that? And in situations like when it comes to WWE, what they did with R-Truth was the right decision, but it does set now a precedent that no matter what happens, the fans are going to be screaming for people. Look, when they got rid of CM Punk 10 years ago, people spent years and years and years and years chanting for him and never got him back. They do this now with R-Truth. They got him back. And now Kairi's gone, whether they liked Kairi or not, which they did. And let's make it clear. Kairi was in a prominent storyline. One of the few that was on Raw. One of the few that was on, I believe it was Raw. One of the few they actually had for the women. It doesn't even matter if the Raw, SmackDown. Just that it was one of the most developed. Seeing that Kairi was being abused by Asuka. And Io has been talking about for nearly a year, that Kairi, you need to get away from her. She's treating you badly. And now, they didn't want to finish that story. And from what I've seen of Raw, they're trying to compensate by just having Io and Asuka face each other, but now the fans are chanting for Kairi. They're not knuckling under to that again. They're not going to do it. I do not see them bringing Kairi back. If they bring Kairi back, they're done. They will chant for every person that is under the sun, whether they like them or not, or think they're even good. The fans would do it just to fuck with the company and Triple H, which they're not happy with Triple H anymore. And if you don't know, it has just been revealed that Triple H just got another extension on his deal, which is up to at least 3 to 5 years. I think it's 3 years. So they're not happy as it is. But here's the other thing that I just think is bullshit. The bringing her back, I don't believe that's happening. I would be shocked if they did. And to be honest, they shouldn't. Because as it stands, like I just said, they've already set a precedent with R-Truth. They will fuck themselves if they bring back Kairi. They will fuck themselves way worse than they did with R-Truth. But this part, and I believe I have the connection with that one about Kairi. If it's true, fine. That's the reason why this happened, because of Kairi. But if it's not true, this is bullshit. They're just covering their ass because people are angry about Kairi. Now, if I remember the article talks about Kairi being released, and there's a reason why she was released. One of the reasons. Not the reason, but one of the reasons. And Dave Meltzer, I believe, is the one who, not John Ross Sapp, I think it was Dave Meltzer, who did this article. And he said the possible reason, because he spoke to them, but one possible reason why she was released was because she's considering moving back to Japan. Moving back to Japan. She's considering going back home. Moving back to Japan. Because she had been living in America now. Now she was considering moving back to Japan. When most wrestlers who are European don't all live in America and they live in other countries. Either European, maybe Japan. Right. Bullshit. I'm sorry, that can't be the main reason. That cannot be the defining reason. That cannot be even part of the reason. Wrestlers, either they move to another place or they stay in America. That has been going on for years. You cannot tell me that wrestlers have not gone from one place to another, moved themselves. They made the request, hey, I need some time. There's a situation I need to go, and I need to move. Now, some won't be given time off. Others have been given time off, which we do know has happened. But saying one of the defining factors that made her leave was because she wanted to go back home to Japan. Bullshit. That, I believe, this is me. I could be 100% wrong, and it could be real. It could be real. And if it is real, I'm wrong. I eat crow. I'm fine with it. I don't know everything. I'm not perfect at this. I don't have every answer. I have no connections in the wrestling business whatsoever because, well, if I did, I might have some people on this show that might actually be able to help me to get more ratings or more views. But I don't know nobody. But through experience, over the last 14 years of doing this and any information that comes out that has talked about wrestlers moving locations, moving to different countries, having children, having substance problems. This is not usually one of the defining factors of you being released. Either because they just want to get rid of you because either you're an issue, like CM Punk was, you're got a substance abuse problem, like when it came to some people, like Andrade or like Alberto Del Rio. You got a case on you, like Enzo Mori had, like Velveteen Dream or anyone else, any allegations, you're released on that. Or you get hurt and they just let you go because they don't think it's worth it. Most places now put an extension on your contract, but in this case, like several people, they let you go. And when it comes to like, let's see, Santos Escobar, who was injured when he went to AAA and now has been released. There's a situation there. He's injured. They just brought him back from last time and now they just release him. They think, well, it's not worth keeping him around. He's injured. He's out. We already had him out once. He's brought back. You know what? Get rid of him. I don't believe that. I do not believe that Kairi Sane, Sane. I kind of wanted to be Zane. But Kairi was released as one of the major factors was because she wanted to move back to Japan. That's a freaking lie. They just wanted to cut the budget. And she was being released on bulk. On bulk. That's why she was being released. Now, if anything new comes out, I can update you, which I probably will because, let's be honest here, guess what? More people are going to be released. This is not over. There's no way this is over. Yes, you got rid of between maybe 22 to 25 people. Usually they get rid of a good amount of people by, what, June? July? A good amount of people is released between April to June or July. We're going to hear more people being released, and there's going to be more people going to be shocked that they're willing to release them because, as Dave Meltzer said, when it comes to the storylines, well, they can lose a little bit because of a storyline. It's not that expensive to lose. Well, guess what? And I'm going to say this as a little rant. Guess what? Hang on a minute. I still have 5 minutes before the timer ran off. I did not want to get cut off. Let's make this clear. Do I agree with Alex JD? Yes. Look, as much as I heard Dave Meltzer saying that it's a lot more cost effective to release somebody like this and then just take a little bit of a hit on the storyline. That's what he said to kind of justify one of the reasons why she was released. And that's Kairi Sane. When you do something like that, if they're not hurt and you just release them because you want to save a little bit of fucking money, if the fans find out that you did it because you just wanted to save a little bit of money and you're willing to ruin a storyline that you've been building for nearly a year, pisses their asses off beyond no end. And that shows you two things. One, you don't value your booking. You don't. If someone gets hurt or something happens like someone gets arrested and gets thrown in jail or some type of allegations are really serious that you got to release them, that's understandable. You can't keep a storyline going with one of the stars of the storylines if they've been injured seriously and they're out. If there's some type of allegations going with them that are serious, you got to release them or suspend them just until the situation's over and you got to reorientate it. That is understandable. But if you're talking about just saving fucking money and you do this and worse yet, they find out, your fans, it's going to aggravate them to the point where it's going to cause nothing but havoc for you, which is happening now while Kairi's name is being chanted. What happened on this Raw when it came to Io Sky and Asuka? They literally dropped down the audio because the fans were chanting her name, thinking that they're going to get another R-Truth moment, and they're not. And that means this is going to make it harder for people not in the arenas, not the people that are in the arenas. Remember, the fans can hear it all. They'll have their cameras, they can record it. It's not going to hurt the wrestlers and the production crews. They don't fucking care. They're still getting paid. The ones that's going to get it is someone like me, who would watch this, who's not a reviewer or who is a reviewer, who's watching this and they hear the damn audio drop like a stone and they're like, what the fuck? Come on. I'm getting sick and tired of hearing zero audio or no audio at all. This irritates people who are paying you on your fucking apps. Sorry for the cursing, but this is frustrating. But this is just me. Peace. I will be doing my NXT review. Peace.